The frequency of heaven, it's encoded within our heart, our soul, our mind, our body. And to see it not reflected within the actual earth, in the world, on a macroscopic level, it can feel very painful, because in your heart, you know what the landscape of the earth, of humanity, of the animals, of nature, everything precious within it can be. And so I wanted to create this to encourage the sacred feminine and also the sacred masculine into bringing this frequency of heaven to earth, to have all of those beautiful aspects of the earth and the materialized earth be nurtured and protected. That prayer of bringing heaven on earth must include disempowering everything that seeks to endanger and abuse and be cruel and oppressive to everything that is wild and sacred. This evil that we're witnessing within the earth, it is an ancient evil. What we're seeing now is that same ancient evil simply existing in a modern world, and using the technologies and the advancements of the modern world to continue that evil. Even though the society that we are seeing is more modernized and more quote-unquote progressed, that's only because there was someone prior who laid down the foundations of, let's say, laws or obstructions, regulations, to avoid the evil that has always existed from continuing. But that evil is always, I don't want to say being born, but it's always prevalent in the possibility in the heart of man. The soul of evil is primal. It doesn't have the collective awareness and development just because other people have. It is its own entity. The concept of heaven on earth may seem like a mirage, a fantasy, or delusion to the less imaginative or those rooted in fear, but to the sacred feminine and the sacred masculine, it is a vision that is placed so clearly within the heart that feels such a conviction against everything that is against that vision. I feel it so strongly, and I know that there's such a collective of us now here on earth that feel the same way. Part of the actual mission of bringing heaven on earth is for the sacred feminine and masculine to birth that into fruition within their own lives as evidence that it is possible. Just really quick, it's Friday morning. I am here under the sun by the ocean, which I love, and I get to take a moment to do something that calls to my heart. Allow your life to be evidence that heaven on earth is possible, even in the slightest ways. Obviously, we're not reaching for a perfect life or anything like that. It's the striving towards growing, the striving towards healing, the striving towards bringing to life everything that fills our heart and nurturing that, even when it's difficult, and the storms that come in life, that we meet them with grace and compassion. On that note, this is another topic that I really want to discuss or delve deeper in, but I'm just gonna slightly hint at it. Sacred love between the feminine and masculine, and especially sacred sensuality, which I'm very passionate about, that is ultimately probably the strongest, purest life force on earth. And those who are evil and in power understand that that is the equation to creating a new earth rooted in love that literally can transform the future, transform generations. This is exactly why it is actively sought to be destroyed. That will be a discussion for another video. So this looks like the archetype of the hero, the warrior, the lover, the mother, the father, the huntress, all of these sacred archetypes to come forward and be activated within our spirit so that we have the courage and the spiritual development to not only come against that which is dark and evil and oppressive, but also to be able to sustain that which is sacred, to nurture and cultivate it, to not allow the dark polarities of the archetypes to rule. Everyone, I believe, comes into the earth gifted with something very unique to their heart and their spirit. And everyone's gift, I truly believe in my heart, is meant to bring heaven on earth. So whether that be a writing, music, maybe it's literal actual physical strength, nurturing, art, everything. Maybe you're specifically devoted to the protection of animals or to nature. We are all in need of each other. I think that's so beautiful. It's a collaborative effort. And I do want to acknowledge the overwhelming heartache, witnessing that which is sacred being wounded, being destroyed, being hurt, allowing us to grieve, but also allowing us to transmute that overwhelming grief and disillusion to doing our part. And so that desire to want to have that which is distorted and wounded be healed, that is a reflection of how we should feel towards our lives on a microscopic level. So when we can achieve that desire that we have to heal and save the world, essentially, and we can first do that for our own lives in all the different aspects, right? So let's say your career, your finances, your spiritual health, any trauma you might have endured when you were a child, any physical ailments. First transmute that energy and that desire within your life first, and that will be evidence that it is possible for that to occur for the landscape of humanity, and it will have the power to inspire others. When you put in the work, when you transmute that fire in your heart, it is absolutely possible to bring heaven on earth. And of course, you understand that it's not going to fall into every person's lives that way, but one person's life matters. Think about one person you care about. Their life and their well-being, it means the world to you. It means the world to them. That is their world. That is their, their own existence, their own earth. Trust that whatever impact you can make in your life within what surrounds you is so beautiful and is so valuable, and it is worth pursuing bravely. The rescue mission must be first for your own heart and soul. Otherwise, you're going to be pouring from an empty cup, and that is simply not sustainable. This looks like, for the sacred feminine, I could say maybe some for the sacred masculine, that looks like healing your heart, your sensuality, your wounded femininity, reclaiming your beauty, fortifying, absolutely fortifying your boundaries and your strength, bringing your shadow to light, committing to your passions to what brings your soul alight, healing your connection to relationships in every aspect, family, friends, romantic, and integrating all of this not only as principles, but to be embodied and integrated with the work that you've done towards cultivating your sacred feminine, or if there's anyone watching, your sacred masculine. If you're interested in tools to help heal, cultivate, and adorn your sacred femininity, I do invite you to visit my website, cultivamor.com, where I offer an audio affirmation collection, a Larimar necklace, which I'm wearing in the video, a beautiful grounding anklet, and crystal bangles. I also do offer 2 free phone screensavers that you can download. So if you feel called to, I invite you to check them out. And onto the video. Channel and transmute that love that you have within your heart for humanity and the earth, nature, children in a grounded way, so that you have the courage and bravery and conviction and strength to face it. You don't just feel those emotions just erratic for no reason, that you're able to hone in that love and, yes, even that heartache, to make change in a way that is practical, in a way that is very concise, and understand that that weight is not only for you to carry, it's being carried amongst so many of us here on earth now. And know that the changes that you make are valuable. It has a ripple effect. When one person heals, it has a ripple effect. And so, like, imagining that effect, how beautiful that, I'm just imagining that beautiful effect that would be to witness. Really envision that victory, even if it's for your own life. In regards to like channeling that energy, it's so random, but I'm like a big fan of the X-Men. They have like their powers, right? but they still undergo training because the capacity of their powers can actually be detrimental to them and to the missions they go on if they don't learn to channel it, to withhold when they need to be very precise and with utilizing their powers. Like everyone has their own power, their own distinct power, but it is all relevant and collaborative towards their mission. And that's how we kind of have to envision ourselves in a way. Allow all of that strength within your body, within your spirit, to assist you in soldiering through. Know that you are a light within that darkness. Finding strength and comfort in that, and that you're not alone. Understand that whenever there is goodness that is in power, that is the opponent, the enemy, right, to that evil. And having that vision that we can turn it all around. I think Sade, Soldier of Love, came to my mind. The lyric, it says, still believing that love will come and turn it all around. I love that song. I love that song. But yeah, still believing that love will come and turn it all around. And that is what we have to hold true. If you feel like it's not worth it, like it's a worthless fight, life is worth fighting for. Children, the animals, the earth, whimsy, beauty, joy, the elders, life, art, everything beautiful and precious on the earth is absolutely worth fighting for. So don't be discouraged. It's worth the effort. It's worth picking up your sword, or in the Bible say picking up your cross. It's worth picking up your sword and shield in whatever ways is specific to you, using your gifts to bring forth into that fight that we're currently in, and on a soul level. Because every evil that we see manifest physically started with distortions in the soul, started with poison in the mind. So everything will manifest first on a spiritual and non-materialistic level before it manifests into the earth. We fight not against flesh and blood, but principalities. Taking care of your soul and your spirit, your mind, your heart, your emotions during that turbulence is so important. It's I keep thinking of nerdy references today, but I love it. I'm thinking of, in Star Wars, I believe it was Luke, he's in the heat of battle, but he took a moment of respite to pray. And maybe that seems like this is not the time, but it is absolutely the time. That's how he centered himself during battle. So take the moments to recenter your heart, your spirit, to pray, to find strength when you feel weak, to lift your heart towards heaven when that is the only strength you have. When you don't have the strength to stand, ask for the strength to bring your heart upwards for strength. Right now, the reclamation of the earth is on a verge. We're at a crossroads, and this is essentially where there's being a separation of what is good and what is evil, who will fight the good fight, who will fight for evil, and then who will simply be standing by. And I think of that one quote, was it Winston Churchill, I believe? All it takes for evil to prevail is for good men to do nothing. Our time here on earth is very limited. If I could see any beautiful way to leave this earth, it would be knowing that I fought the good fight. The same way we're called with that mission in our heart to do what is right, there are absolutely people who have the mission, their mission to bring forth the very opposite of heaven onto earth, and is what they have been doing. That is just to gain perspective on how, I would say, dire this mission is. I'm really enjoying talking about saying like missions, because always my greatest heartbreak is that I'll never be part of the X-Men, so this is kind of getting, like, it's fun. It makes me think of the X-Men. When you think of how beautiful the world is in its raw, natural state, the way God created it, the earth, like a majestic beauty made with so much love. When you think of the way everything was designed, that God already created a little slice of heaven on earth, and it is simply us reclaiming it on a soul level, allowing that which is within the soul to reflect the beauty of the earth that was created. And I think of like our systems, our bodies, animals, like everything is so intended for us to thrive, and it is simply bringing our spirits, the collective spirit of humanity, to reflect the beauty that was created physically in God's design. Closing this off, be rooted in faith and love. Do not be overcome by evil, but overcome evil with good and love. Do not fear, but be rooted in courage, faith, and love. And do not allow for your spirit to be corrupted, to made weaken in fear and powerlessness. We are very powerful. That is why the energy of that which is sacred is siphoned, because those are evil. They understand the power that we hold. That is why they seek to oppress. The energy that they operate from is very dark and it's very low vibrational. That's why they have to siphon so much. We have the opportunity to reclaim the earth, and it's absolutely worth the fight. Please like, comment, subscribe. You can also follow me on my Instagram, Cultivar with 2 underscores, where I create content there as well. So thank you so much. I hope you enjoyed this beautiful landscape with me. Seize life with presence, with love and gratitude. And I pray that this video was of encouragement to you.